Silence has always been misunderstood. The noisy believe silence is weakness, a lack of confidence, a void to be filled. But the Stoics knew the truth. Silence is not weakness, silence is power. It is the weapon of the disciplined mind. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Those words carry a timeless weight. We live in a world that rewards constant talking, every opinion broadcasted, every thought shared, every moment posted. People rush to prove themselves with words, not realizing that the more you talk, the less you control. Silence, however, shows strength. The man who can keep his tongue still, even when provoked, has mastered himself. Think about it, the loudest voices in the room rarely hold true power. True leaders, true warriors, true thinkers, they don't speak to be heard. They speak because they have something worth saying. And when they do speak, the world listens. Why? Because they have earned respect through silence, through observation, through discipline. Silence gives you space to listen, and listening gives you the ability to learn. Every word you don't say becomes energy saved. Energy you can redirect toward growth, toward building your life. Gossip, arguments, meaningless debates, these are traps for the undisciplined. The Stoics remind us that you are not obligated to respond to every insult, every rumor, every foolish comment. You can remain still. You can remain silent, and that silence will often speak louder than 1,000 words. Epictetus taught, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This is not just advice, it is a strategy for power. When you speak less, you give yourself the chance to see more, hear more, and understand more. Silence turns you into a student of life, and only students of life become masters of it. The undisciplined rush to reply, the wise wait. The undisciplined shout, the wise stay silent and observe. The undisciplined speak to be liked. The wise speak only when words are necessary. Silence gives you control over yourself, and self-control is the greatest strength any man can possess. So the next time you feel the urge to prove yourself, resist. The next time someone provokes you with foolish words, resist. The next time you want to announce your goals, resist. Choose silence. Build quietly. Endure quietly. Grow quietly. Because one day, your silence will end. And when it does, it will end with action, with results, with victories that speak louder than any words you could have said. Remember, silence is not weakness. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is your weapon. Use it wisely. The Stoics taught one of the most liberating truths in human history. Most of the things that disturb you are not under your control. Think about how much of your time is wasted worrying about what others think, about the past you cannot change, or the future you cannot predict. Epictetus laid it out clearly. Some things are up to us and some things are not. This distinction is the foundation of peace, focus, and power. The modern world is noisy because people are obsessed with things outside their control. They argue endlessly about politics. They complain about circumstances. They gossip about people who aren't even present. They scroll through social media, consumed by other people's lives, comparing, envying, judging. But none of this adds value to their own existence. None of this builds discipline, wealth, or wisdom. It only drains them. The Stoic chooses differently. He draws a clear line between what belongs to him and what does not. What belongs to him, his thoughts, his actions, his habits, his discipline, his response to whatever life throws at him. These are his. Everything else, fate, opinions, outcomes, accidents, other people's behavior, belongs to the universe, not to him. And because it doesn't belong to him, he lets it go. This is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength, because once you stop wasting energy on what you cannot control, you become unstoppable with the things you can. If someone insults you, you cannot control their words, but you can control your response. If a storm destroys your plans, you cannot control the weather, but you can control your adaptability. If life gives you hardship, you cannot control the event, but you can control how you use it to grow stronger. This is where freedom is found. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He was the emperor of Rome, yet he did not claim control over armies, politics, or fortune. He only claimed mastery over himself. And that mastery made him one of the greatest leaders in history. Ask yourself, how much of your energy is wasted on things outside your control? How many hours have you lost in pointless arguments, in anger over things you couldn't change, in envy of people who don't even know you exist? That is stolen time. That is stolen life. The Stoics demand that you take it back. When you wake up, remind yourself, today I only control my mind, my choices, my actions. The world will do what it does. People will say what they say. Fate will unfold as it must. But I will focus only on myself, and that focus is power. So free yourself from the prison of worrying about what you cannot control. Put all your energy into what you can. That is how you build strength. That is how you build peace. And that is how you build a life worth living. One of the greatest traps of modern life is the need to announce everything. People post their plans before they've even taken the first step. They talk endlessly about what they are going to do, yet never move beyond words. The Stoics understood how dangerous this is, because when you seek recognition before achievement, you weaken your own resolve. You trade discipline for dopamine. Seneca once wrote, "Work in silence. Let your achievements shout for you." This is not just a quote. It is a blueprint for life. If you want to rise above mediocrity, you must learn the art of silent building. You must learn to value progress over applause and mastery over recognition. Why is silence so powerful in building? Because it protects your focus. Every time you announce your goals, every time you seek validation, you give away your energy. You invite opinions, doubts, criticism, and distractions. You make yourself vulnerable to external noise. And soon, instead of working on your craft, you're busy defending it. Instead of focusing on growth, you're focused on proving. The Stoic chooses differently. He understands that success is not born in the spotlight. It is born in solitude. The warrior does not announce his training. He sharpens his sword quietly in the dark. He strengthens his body while others are sleeping. He prepares for the battle that no one sees coming, and when the time arrives, his preparation speaks for him. That is true power. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, journaled privately. His meditations were never meant for public eyes. Why? Because his growth was not for applause. It was for strength, for clarity, for mastery of himself. Today, we read his words and see wisdom, but in his time, it was silent building. He was creating in private what the world would one day admire. Ask yourself, are you building for validation or are you building for greatness? If you need others to see your progress, you will never last, because applause fades. Attention moves on, and when it does, your motivation dies with it. But if you build quietly, your foundation becomes unshakable. You no longer need external fuel. You are powered by discipline, by vision, by purpose. This is why the Stoics urge us to let success make the noise. Not words, not announcements, not promises. Success, results, transformation. That is the only voice that cannot be denied. So keep your plans private. Work in the shadows. Study when no one is watching. Train when no one is clapping. Prepare when no one believes, because one day your results will appear, and when they do, they will be undeniable. People will wonder how you rose so high, so fast, so strong, but you will know the truth. You are building quietly all along. Remember, noise is for the insecure. Silence is for the powerful. Build quietly, let results speak, and when they do, they will speak louder than anything you could ever say. One of the greatest threats to your focus and growth is not your own weakness. It's the people and conversations you allow into your life. The Stoics were ruthless about this truth. If you spend time with shallow people, if you waste hours in empty talk, you will weaken your mind, dilute your discipline, and lose the fire that drives you forward. Seneca warned us clearly, associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve. The process is mutual, for men learn while they teach. This is not just about avoiding bad company. It is about consciously choosing an environment that elevates you, because your environment is shaping you whether you realize it or not. Most conversations today are distractions. Gossip, drama, negativity, small talk about things that do not matter. They eat away at your time like termites, silently but relentlessly. You think you are just being polite, passing the time, but in truth, you are spending the most precious resource you have, your life. Every moment wasted in useless talk is a moment stolen from your growth, your craft, your discipline. And it's not just the paid conversations, it's the people. Some people drain you. They poison your focus with complaints, with envy, with laziness. They are not building themselves, so they don't want you to build either. Their comfort zone demands your participation. If you continue to entertain them, you will become like them. But the Stoic does not allow this. The Stoic cuts away what is useless, both in words and in relationships. Not with hatred, not with arrogance, but with discipline. If someone does not challenge your mind, sharpen your will, or push you toward virtue, then you must create distance. You cannot fly if you're chained to those who refuse to leave the ground. And here's the hard truth. Sometimes silence and solitude are better companions than people. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul. Do not fear being alone. Fear being surrounded by fools. Alone you can read. Alone you can reflect. Alone you can train your mind and body. Alone you can build. But in the wrong company, you lose yourself. This does not mean isolation forever. It means being selective. It means seeking relationships of value, teachers, mentors, friends of discipline, people who challenge you to be greater. And it means being someone of value yourself, so that your presence strengthens others, not weakens them. So cut out useless talk. Cut out useless people. Guard your time and your mind with the same intensity that a warrior guards his sword, because both are easily dulled if you are careless. Remember, your focus is your life, and you cannot focus if you are drowning in noise and surrounded by mediocrity. Choose wisely. Speak only when necessary. Keep company only with the strong. And if neither is available, then choose silence and solitude. That is where the Stoic sharpens his soul. The strongest man is not the one with the greatest muscles or the sharpest sword. It is the one who has mastered his own mind. The Stoics knew this truth deeply. They lived in empires. They faced exile. They endured poverty, betrayal, and war. Yet what made them unshakable was not wealth, not position, not luck. It was their inner discipline. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, carried the weight of a vast empire on his shoulders. And yet, when you read his meditations, you see not the voice of a ruler, but of a man training his mind daily. He wrote reminders to himself over and over. Stay calm, stay disciplined, stay in control. Why? Because even an emperor knew that without mental discipline, he would fall to distraction, temptation, and weakness. Epictetus, born a slave, taught the same principle. He told his students that freedom does not come from external chains being broken, but from the mind learning to control itself. A man could be imprisoned in body, but free in thought if he had discipline. And Seneca, surrounded by wealth and power, reminded himself constantly to practice self-examination. Each night before sleep, he would review his day. Where did I succeed? Where did I fail? What can I improve tomorrow? This daily practice was not just philosophy, it was mental training. Ask yourself, how often do you train your mind? Most people train their bodies, feed their appetites, chase pleasures, but they leave their mind unguarded, unsharpened, undisciplined. They scroll endlessly, react emotionally, get pulled into every distraction, and wonder why they lack peace, focus, and strength. Their mind is weak because it is untrained. The Stoic refuses this path. He trains his mind as a warrior trains his weapon every day without fail. This means journaling, reflecting, reading, meditating. Eat means practicing restraint, choosing not to react, choosing not to speak, choosing not to give in to anger or fear. It means strengthening. Attention, focusing on one task fully, without distraction, until it is done. Your mind is like a muscle. Leave it idle, and it softens. Train it daily, and it hardens into steel. And once your mind is disciplined, nothing can shake you. Insults lose their power. Setbacks become fuel. Pain becomes a teacher. With a disciplined mind, you do not break under life's weight. You carry it with calm strength. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Discipline is the bridge between noise and silence, between weakness and power, between chaos and clarity. So start today. Before you sleep, review your day. In the morning, set your intention. When tempted to distraction, bring your focus back. When provoked, choose silence instead of reaction. These are not small acts, they are daily victories. And day by day, these victories make you unbreakable. Remember, the undisciplined mind is a prison. The disciplined mind is freedom. When provoked, is back. Train your mind daily, and nothing, not even fate, can defeat you. Why do most people talk so much? Why do they announce every plan, share every detail, and constantly crave to be seen? Because they are hungry for attention. But here's the brutal truth. Attention is cheap. It comes quickly, and it fades even faster. A life built on attention is a life built on sand. It cannot last. The Stoics understood this weakness well. They lived in times where fame, applause, and honor tempted men just as much as they tempt us today, yet their philosophy stood against it. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. This is the Stoic way. Do not talk about virtue, live it." Do not preach discipline, practice it. Do not seek applause for your journey, walk it in silence. Most people want recognition more than results. They would rather look successful than be successful. They live for likes, for approval, for the brief satisfaction of being noticed. But the Stoic knows that a man who depends on attention is a slave to others. His worth is not his own, it is borrowed from the crowd. And when the crowd turns away, so does his strength. Instead, the Stoic lives for action. He knows that true greatness does not need to be announced, it needs to be demonstrated. A tree does not shout to prove its strength. It grows silently, and in time, its roots run deep, its branches stretch wide, and its presence cannot be ignored. So it is with the Stoic. He builds in silence, he acts with discipline, and in time, his life itself becomes his loudest statement. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every day, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Notice the command, be one. Do not talk endlessly about your values. Do not advertise your character. Show it in your conduct. Show it in your discipline. Show it in how you live when no one is watching. When you live for action, you become untouchable. Critics lose their power because you don't need their approval. Applause loses its grit because you don't need recognition. You live for something higher, virtue, mastery, strength, and peace. You are not performing, you are becoming. Ask yourself, am I doing this for attention or for action? Am I working out for my health and strength or for the validation of others? Am I pursuing discipline for mastery or just to impress? Am I pursuing discipline for mastery or just but brutally honest with yourself, because every action you take either feeds your ego or builds your soul. The Stoic chooses the latter. Let others talk, let others seek attention, let others spend their lives performing for approval. You will live differently, you will act, you will build, you will embody discipline so deeply that you won't need to say a word. Your life will speak for you. Remember, attention fades, but action endures. Live for action, build in silence, and let your life, not your words, be your greatest speech.